All right, folks, from what I can gather, conservatives are rejoicing over the 9 charges filed in the 56-page grand jury indictment against the president's son, Hunter Biden, filed by federal prosecutor David Weiss. And it's a pretty seamy indictment, as Jonathan just said. I'm not sure Hunter's not too happy about this, and I'm sure his father isn't thrilled about it either. Okay, I get that. But speaking as a non-lawyer, really just as a poor, impoverished news host, I'm not so sure about this alleged Christmas present because now Hunter is going to use this as an excuse to avoid any private deposition under oath before any of the congressional oversight or judicial or Ways and Means committees, or worst case, he'll take the 5th if he has to go up there. But what he will not be forced to do is to reveal all the details of the alleged influence peddling and bribery crimes that might just happen to come up in a discussion about his failure to register as a foreign agent. Let me italicize that foreign agent part, because the Weiss indictment didn't include that for some reason, maybe an oversight. The whole world knows that Papa Biden was involved with his son's business. That is way too easy now. But the world doesn't yet know precisely how he was involved. And Hunter ain't going to talk about that because he's already been busted for not paying his taxes, right? Since if he just got busted for 3 felonies and 6 misdemeanors, then yes, he could go to jail for 17 years. And no, Hunter's not going to have any fun in jail, but he won't go to Capitol Hill either. And my non-legal suspicion is that this whole series of events actually brings GOP oversight investigators further away from Joe Biden, because Hunter's going to be untouchable for quite some time. And if I were really a cynic, I would say that Special Counsel David Weiss, who has 0 credibility, decided to put Hunter on ice for exactly this reason. I mean, I can just imagine the phone calls between Weiss and Attorney General Merrick Garland. Look, we've got to do something here because these IRS whistleblowers made such a strong case, and Judge Noriega in Wilmington blew up the first phony deal beyond repair. So let's protect their ultimate boss, Joe, by throwing Hunter under the bus. Just for a little while. Put him on ice for the rest of the election period. And if Papa Biden does beat Trump, well, he'll undoubtedly pardon his son. In fact, Press Secretary KJP today said again that the president would never pardon his son, which of course makes it all the more likely that that is exactly what the president would do. Remember the political axiom. Politicians say no, 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 right up until the time they say yes. And that law will apply here, trust me. Or if Donald Trump should win, then Hunter will make some kind of deal, but yes, he'll spend some time in the pokey. Not the worst thing in the world from the standpoint of his octogenarian father, who will whisper under his breath, better him than me. So, just to end this totally absurd riff, since when have conservatives suddenly decided to entrust Special Counsel David Weiss after his incredibly unenviable track record about all this? And that is my non-legal, impoverished news host riff. Okay? There you have it.